Hello, Susannah here from the Good Property Company. I'm just hoping you can hear me because it's quite windy. I'm in Cadiz in the south of Spain, having a fantastic tour around Spain. Right outside, very noisy square, right outside Cadiz Cathedral, which, because I'm just so into property, really makes me laugh because the same things we need to look at as property developers, these guys had to deal with all those hundreds of years ago. So what happened was, Cadiz down here was the kind of, as far as I can understand from my very limited history tour of enjoying hanging around in Cadiz, Cadiz was like the center of the output of commerce off to the Americas, and things came into Spain via Cadiz. So as a benefited an intermediary, Cadiz got really wealthy. Fabulous, that was the heyday. So they started building a cathedral. Good for them. But we talk about PESTLE, political, economic, social, legal, technological and environmental, and we always talk about property. Oh, my friend Mark's holding the camera and he's got a little fly, which is why it's shaky camera work. I can't get the team, can you? And we have to go for a coffee really soon. So even as what you might call a small-time property developer, there's no way we're at the point of cathedral making. One of the key things to do is to constantly do a kind of search on what's happening in the outside world, because you can't control the outside world. So don't even start moaning about it, but do start thinking about what is happening in the outside world and what can I do about it to make sure my ship is safe and make sure I can predict to a degree the future. So politically, what happened? Well, that. Politically, America got free. And so politically, suddenly, these guys who were like super rich in Cadiz and they were paying for a cathedral, and it was mainly the guys that were making themselves very rich through import-export, if you like, with America, suddenly America got free, and there was no more trade. Economically, no more trade. So Mark's just shown you the Cadiz Cathedral, which is just fantastic because the first however many meters is a certain stone. Then they had to stop for, I think it was 32 or 34 years? Anyway, over 30 years they had to stop because there was no more money, and then they built the rest of the cathedral. So politically, watch out for changing environment and make sure that you can accommodate those changes in advance. Economically, what's happening in the current environment? Like, there's just no point. I mean, I was at CrossFit this morning and it said winners train, losers complain. There's no point complaining. There's a point in lobbying, but there's no point complaining about what's happening in your economic environment or your political environment, but actually figure out how will it impact your business and what are you going to do about it. And of course, these guys, it impacted on the cathedral. They basically stopped building for 30 odd years and then they rebuilt in a different stone, which is why you've got a historic cut-off point where the political and economic from PESTLE impacted on them being property developers, albeit religious property developers. So just think socially what's happening, technologically what's happening, and then the key question to ask yourself is what you're going to do about it. So maybe they could have gotten more money early on and amassed the money and not built as they traded, just in case their trade was going to change. Maybe they could have actually saved more of the stones so they didn't need to change colour. I mean, who knows? You know, this is a history lesson, but it just tickles me pink to see all those hundreds of years ago in such a historic and important context, the same problems that we wrestle with as small-time property developers. Politics, economics, social, legal, technological, environmental, what's happening in that world and what you're going to do about it. Right, we are off for coffee in Cadiz. See you later.